Joining me now is David Ignatius, Washington Post foreign affairs columnist and an MSNBC contributor. Donald Trump says, David, that he wants peace. Then, after Volodymyr Zelensky said earlier today that the end of the war was far away, he wrote, "America will not put up for this much longer." Probably not a great statement to have been made in terms of a show of strength. What are they thinking? I know you wrote a column over the weekend, perhaps optimistically, that there could still be a deal. Do you still feel that way?
I think it's still possible. The Europeans are working on a unified platform of support for Ukraine. Keir Starmer, the British Prime Minister, has made it clear that he would like then to mediate, in effect, between Ukraine and Europe and come back to a unified position that could go towards peace negotiations. Ukrainians told me over the weekend that President Zelensky, when he was at the Oval Office in that catastrophic meeting, came prepared to sign an agreement giving the U.S. a share of Ukraine's mineral rights in exchange for U.S. support in negotiations, and that they'd be ready to come back and resume those conversations. I think right now it's very fragile, hard to predict exactly where this is going, but my instinct is that there'll be, again, an effort by Ukraine to work out a deal with the United States and go into negotiations.
Well, point blank, can Ukraine exist without the support of the United States? Andrea was reporting just at the top of the hour, Andrea Mitchell, about the technology that the U.S. provides that Europe will not and cannot provide, the kinds of defense systems, for example, that the United States has. Does Ukraine really need a deal?
Ukraine does need a deal with the United States to be able to continue the war, but more to the point, to be able to get to a fair peace agreement in which the aggressor, Russia, is not rewarded. There are some extremely important systems that the U.S. And NATO allies provide to Ukraine that allow precise targeting of Russian positions in eastern Ukraine. Some of those are actually being financed by European countries, but without the U.S. anchor in terms of the satellite and other intelligence resources, I don't think those technologies will work. My biggest fear, Chris, simply is that Ukraine will run out of air defenses, and without air defenses, its territory will be as vulnerable to Russian attack as Gaza is to Israeli attack. That's the fear that Ukrainians have.
Is there anyone in the European Union, for example, who has the ear of Donald Trump, anybody who has the ear of Donald Trump more than Vladimir Putin?
So the NATO Secretary General, Mark Rutte, has been, since Trump's first term, supportive of him, was very early to say that Trump was right. Europeans should be paying more for their defense. Trump is said to like him and to get along well with him, and he's been leading the argument, Mr. President, you need to have a strong and sustainable peace agreement, otherwise it's going to blow up on you. It's going to come back to haunt you during your term. So I think Rutte is with Keir Starmer, the key person as an interlocutor. Trump badly wants this peace agreement. He campaigned on it. He said he'd get it done quickly. And as things begin to splinter after the catastrophe in the Oval Office, in a way, it's Trump who's embarrassed because he's not able to deliver on what he promised. He may blame Zelensky, but that misses the point that he won't get the deal done.
David Ignatius, thank you so much.